You most well all know about LP10 growing hair back on your head. And some idiot asked me, he said, well, why would you want to grow hair on your head? Well, today I substantiated, I was messing around with that machine and I was kind of under duress and stress. Next thing I know, it bit me. And so I jumped up and I thought, if I had some hair there, wouldn't that be great? But I didn't, so I have another scar to heal, so forgive me. And other guy asked me, they said, well, now, why would you want to implode things? Well, you know, fusion is 106 to 7% efficient. That means it's over unity. It's the best and the greatest and the wonderfulest force, and I've worked for 25 years to perfect this. And as I do things, and you all know this, this is the first time this has ever been displayed publicly. I encourage you to be careful. I encourage you, if you do look at it, don't do it for too long, because it's like staring at the sun. You'll be standing next to the sun. Now here at cold fusion, hot fusion. Well, you can stand next to it and it's cold. That's what fusion's all about. It creates its own vacuum and its bubble. But if you stick anything in there, like your hand, your fingers, forceps, metal of any kind, glass, lots of things, it just literally disappears. And we'll try to do some things for you tonight. Now, why would someone want to have such an apparatus, as Tesla would call it? And he's the one that started this quest in the first place. Was, why would we want to have that? We're running out of energy. We take this to Spokane. We run it for 2 solid months. On the way you're going to see it, perfecting this computer. It's completely controlled by a computer. You don't have to be a rocket scientist. You can hit one button. Now, why would we want anything like this? Why would we want something? Well, we got garbage problems. It's already got rid of, or as the federal government calls it, the deposition of plutonium. It's on the docket for that. Sharps, or the needles from diabetics and AIDS patients that everybody's afraid of, go up in one whisper. Small things, it's wonderful, and we'll probably develop the big things. But the wonderful thing now is that any layman can run it. Any of you can just press one button and it'll work. That's a miraculous thing. To start with, we have a tape that I want to show. This has probably never been seen by anybody before, because this is World War II technology, and it takes you through the early stages of rocketry. You want to come up here a minute, Joe? This is my daughter, Josie, and she's been a wonderful, wonderful help to me. And we're going to put right here, hon, right over on this side. Just stay up here a minute. We're going to show you this tape. Now, I thought, pay real close attention, but I thought if you don't get it to the end of this lecture, we can hit it again. But you're going to see actual footage behind the German lines that's never been seen. I'll bet you when we call for a raise of hands, few people have ever seen it, if any, a development program of the whole rocket program that put man in space from day one. The other thing of it is, I have friends in NASA. I have credibility in NASA. I have honor enough to wear patches of NASA on my jacket in some of the space missions, and they're very interested in this too. Why again would they be interested? Because it represents a very efficient, high technology rocket engine that I believe in my heart and my mind is going to be the power of the future, and I think we're going to have flying cars with this controllable machine that I spent all winter trying to perfect, and hopefully for your pleasure. Enjoy, watch, and pay close attention.
Despite great setbacks, the Germans pressed on with a wide range of interesting rocket inventions. Some models seemed to have great possibilities as more was learned about rocket propellants, but many fell short of expectations. When the Germans finally finally got their secret project, the V-1 rocket, to work reliably, it was to change modern warfare forever.
Remember that. Change modern warfare forever.
A catapult was used to get the V-1 up to speed so that the primitive ramjet engine could perform properly. This German training film shows in detail how the catapult system worked. The V-1 packed an impressive punch with its 1-ton destruction payload. The V-1 was a simple design, and the ramjet was made to use low-grade gasoline.
Low-grade.
And when the proximity fuses were used in conjunction with the new high-tech radars from America, it became a lot easier to hit the moving target. Very few piston aircraft could gather enough speed to get the V-1 in their sights long enough for a kill. Shooting at a ton of explosives at short range was not an especially good idea. The results of a direct hit were unreliable, to say the least. Secret weapons like the larger V-2 rocket.
This is the next stage.
For quite a while, because their development locations were isolated in remote parts of Germany. This enormous missile was being developed as a long-range terror weapon. Hitler knew if he could perfect the V-2, he could threaten any target in the theater. But failure after failure delayed its immediate use. One misguided launch of a loaded V-2 found it returning to the launch site. It landed at the Luftwaffe air base, blasted out an enormous crater, and did a considerable amount of damage to several aircraft. As the existence of the V-2 became known to the Allies, they started bombing the secret development sites, so the V-2 became mobile. By now, the Allies were aware that once the V-2 was launched, there was no way to stop it, and no defense against it. Portable launchers could set up the missile in the vertical launch position swiftly and virtually anywhere. The launch controllers watched closely the preparation from the adjacent armored car. On the other side of the world, the war was raging on as well. The not-so-secret weapon was being used in a bold move to strike a blow in the heart of one of our enemies.
That's it. Stop it. And just check it. Did everybody get that? Okay. Now, why is this important, and what's that got to do with it? Well, the core temperature of the machine you're going to see tonight runs roughly around 50,000 degrees. It is super hot, it is super bright, but after years of failures, just like the Germans and the rockets, and a lot of people, are saying, oh, you can't do this, you can't do this. We have documentation, we have the machine, we have it for demonstration, and hopefully everything goes really easy and smooth tonight. I suggest, like I said, especially with, if you want to, kind of get the idea, if you have sunglasses that work, so you can take a look through the helmet, but kind of look off, don't look directly at it. Also, we were going to do something else interesting, so I'm glad you stuck around. But I've been drinking water out of this plastic cup, and we found out this is one of the natural things, like, what did somebody mention to me? The flux capacitor today, and he's gathering up beer cans and plastic, and this is one of the things that really likes for fuel, or low-grade gasoline, just practically anything. Plastics is wonderful, you can't believe it. And we'll attempt to do that. We'll do some metal and stuff, and just hope everything goes all right. Now I want to leave this question with you. Why would anybody want to build this type of machine? You can't think of one practical purpose. I was thinking one time, maybe even ex-mother-in-laws might be good, but it could be, something that you wanted to get rid of, and you wanted forever and more, no trace whatsoever of it. It's gone. And someone asked me one time, I said, well, where does it go? I must put it in another time warp. But then I'm kind of in a time warp myself. I don't believe in reality. I don't believe it exists. I believe in day to day and what you accomplish. But why would you want to do that, and where would it go? Well, we isolated it down to this, and this is documented. And recently I've got some high credibility, some very, very reputable places. The VA hospital that discovered the stem cell and the degeneration cell has offered to take a look at my work. Some other people back east have asked me if, maybe they could help me, whatever my terms I would want. And like I said, NASA's offered to at least take a look at this. So there's some good things coming around. But this, to me, represents a great challenge. And the challenge is hell, trying to get it done. Everybody else said it was impossible, as usual. Trying to get it computerized, because I learned a lot from computerized cars. And the end event, having fun with it. So I probably got over $20,000 invested in that toy downstairs in cash. Not to say the time. And if we destroy it, that's what you do in R&D. And I'd rather destroy it for my friends here tonight than any people I could think of. And if we do, then it's weak. And so that's one fun thing in R&D. It's expensive as hell, but it's a lot of fun. So we're going to go downstairs and have fun. If anybody's got a couple, 3 quick questions, we'll take them. But I think anything from this point on would be redundant. I think it can all be discussed later downstairs. Go ahead, sir. You.
I've been in communication with people that have witnessed the huge hundreds of thousands of tons of mad cow disease material that's stacked up in this country and in Europe, and they have no concept of any effective way of getting rid of it.
Well,
I mean, there's an unending supply of that.
well, this has came to my attention. And another thing too, even if you couldn't totally get rid of it, it would probably kill it. And this is, like I say, it's brand new. I'm sharing it with you. It's just like going in my lab, and as people that know me, that's what I love to do. So you're just like, this is the first for me too. And somebody asked me, and I said, listen, we just got it together. Okay, a couple more questions.
What's the byproduct of this?
That's a good place. Where does it go? It converts it in one step from solid to liquid to photons. Just the same as the sun. I'll explain that later on.
Is it just as bright?
It's as bright as the sun.
It's as bright as the sun.
It is the sun. It's man-made
It is just as strong
as the sun. Yeah, only small
Just as powerful
as the sun. Yes.
And no residue?
That's something
No residue.
going on.
And the other thing of it is, it's a white light. It's not a yellow light. It's white. So you might say instead of the sun, it's a star. But then maybe the star is a star. They say when we get out in space that they're all white anyway. That the yellow and the green is caused by the atmosphere. So they're probably all white. Okay, one more question, and then we're going to take her down.
What about reversing it? If you make it into photons, you think you can do you have a transportation?
Well, somebody's asked me about that too, but at this point in time, it's easier to take a wristwatch apart when you're learning instead of putting it back together, but maybe in time we'll accomplish that too. there's maybe ways of doing it, and maybe it'll represent teleporters in the future. But the main thing I want to emphasize, and a lot of people laugh, don't laugh, because this is real. It's never been done that I know of on this planet, ever.
Sonny, have you,
Just a minute. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Have you measured any or tested for any kind of vapor coming off of it?
Any kind, every kind you can imagine. Alpha, beta, gamma, cosmic.
I mean gaseous
Oh yeah, that's what they are.
stuff.
Yeah. Alpha, beta, gamma. The only thing it gives off basically is photons.
Well, no, I'm saying, have you measured, have you tried to test for anything in the gaseous phase of matter?
No. We, let me repeat again. We have
What
just,
about photons?
I know, we have just barely put it together. We haven't done extensive testing. This is what we've done. You know, we're going to carry on. Hopefully next year we'll come back if we have another lecture, and we will, trust me, somehow, and come back and say, hey, we have this rocket now. Would you like to take a ride in this flying rocket car? Because that's where we're headed. But this is a great accomplishment. One more question.
have you given this device a name?
Well, we always called it the implosion machine. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Go ahead.
You think you get rid of radioactivity away?
We've already done that. It's listed on proposal number 6. I've mentioned that years ago. It's a matter of national security. Also, sneak another in. Did you know it's against the law? It's against the law for a common man to operate a rocket with a guidance system. So I wonder if the humans driving this car down the road and the cops pull up behind you and hit a couple of switches and you're gone. I wonder if they'd give you a ticket because you'd be off the ground. Or on the other hand, I wonder if you're going to have a pilot license to drive it because it's not an airplane. So we'll cross those bridges when we come. We're going to call her good and go downstairs, and we're ready. Has an override. We're going to retract the rod, see, from 20 feet away or whatever. What's the rod? Okay. Now, because we don't want it to touch, it's back there a long ways. So it'll go out here, it'll stop, it'll burn for a while, and it'll retract. But it's not going to do it because it's not going to touch. It's all automatic. You might get it. There's that button right there.
The black one.
Yeah, the black one. Go for it.
And don't look at it?
It won't do nothing. It's not going to touch. It'll just go in, it'll stop, and it'll retract. All automatic. It's set for a 10-second burn. And it'll do it time after time after time after time. But without any air in here, then I'll have to, do it, then we'll wait for a while. And huh? Well, we can do that if we get around to that. I don't have the fitting, no. Yeah, but I don't have the fitting.
No, just a pan, a metal pan.
Yeah, something. I usually have a fry pan. We need a piece of metal on there. Don't you have a piece of
kitchen with me when I
No, any kind of a metal plate. Like if we had a lid off one of your paint. How about one of the lids off one of your paint cans?
Well, humbug. Then I got gold all over the damn street.
Oh no, we'll give it back to you. I won't burn any holes on it. Something about that size. Haven't got anything.
Sonny,
What?
what about one of those Molly's purple plates?
Well, my.
Sonny?
And if you want
Oh,
to,
no, yeah, right.
now listen, if you want to, you can turn around and do this again. Go ahead. We run into trouble. You hit the red button.
Okay.
Okay, it'll do it again. And again, and again, and again. But hopefully it won't touch. No. See? Hit it again. And you can take that cord and plug it into a little pocket rocket, they call it, pocket socket. Plug it into the wire. Hit that control. It's running 75 volts. Okay? Each time it gets closer. So shut it off now.
Right.
Yeah. And now let's have a beer.
I mean, basically looking at a welder?
Don't look at the flash too long. It's like looking at a welder. We don't have welder's glass. So, please,
Look your retina right now.
please, your best try.
I wonder what's happened. Somebody has
Look off.
Alright.
Oh, look off. Oh, look
somebody
at
has
the ground or something. Look off the spot. Don't look at the spot.
Okay.
The Maglite group.
Please.
Turn the light on one more time. Need more light for a second?
Turn the light on.
Somebody.
No, okay, all right.
Hey, the mothership.
So I'm protected from the light.
Oh, it's going to be on the headlines tomorrow. I can just see it.
Massive explosion at Heritage Hotel.
Man lost in sun flare. Oh. Okay, get ready this time, because it's, yeah, I know.
I'm squinting my eyes to the
Squint. It doesn't burn through the
All right,
eyelids.
everybody, heads up.
Burn through your eyelids. Are you kidding me? Watch
Have
the
you seen
tape
it
when I
before?
play it back.
Have you seen it before?
Oh, yeah, that's why I can't see.
Avert your eyes.
My eyes are all right.
Christ. Jesus Christ. Unbelievable.
Oh, great, that's burned right into the lens. Oh, that's a done deal. Oh, Lord.
You know, that's another
This
thing.
used to be a 3-chip camera.
Excellent.
I just remembered. I didn't think of it at the time, but I burned out one of my cameras. I burned you have
Yeah. And I've done it with Sonny before, so I knew to stand back so far.
Do you have a filter on it or?
Yeah, and I didn't even use it.